Well, yes, indeed. We'll be focusing on the budget in a minute, but yes, we have Mr. Emmanuel Onyilofor, a management consultant, to give his perspective on the budget. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
We've seen the arguments making the rounds, and now we understand that senators are divided over the budget, albeit along regional lines. Well, you've also followed up on some of these matters, and it's important we pass the budget, but what do you see playing out at the end of the day?
Okay, first and foremost, I believe that some of the controversies that have come up were inevitable, in the sense that if you go back, to November last year, you remember that I think on the 10th of November last year, the president got rid of about 17 permanent secretaries. The next day, the president appointed his ministers, which is 11th of November. Then the budget was presented to the National Assembly on December 22nd. Now, there is like a 6 weeks interval between when brand new ministers and a number of permanent secretaries came into being. Now, number one is that the budget is a serious document. It's a rigorous, it demands a very rigorous process for you to develop it. Now, here you have brand new ministers and also permanent secretaries coming into being. Now, in every job position, you'll find that there is a period for learning curve. Now, they did not go through that learning curve. Now, I believe that even setting a clear direction for the new government had not been done with the ministers and their permanent secretaries, before the preparation of this budget. So it is inevitable that a number of errors are likely to happen, which is one of the controversies.
Their previous background or expertise notwithstanding?
Yes, previous background and expertise notwithstanding. Chamberlain, if I put you in a new position, in a new job position, there's a period for you to learn. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are. There's a period for you to, grapple with the new situation. Ministers are just coming. They were trying to understand what's going on in their ministries.
And you think that those, you think, you're thinking as that those that would have given them the idea,
right,
a bit of knowledge to fill in that gap, were also eased out before they came in.
Yes. A number of them had been eased. You see, the most important people in the ministry for budget preparation is the permanent secretary and the minister. Yes, there will be directors, who are there, who report to the permanent secretaries. But the point is, if a new permanent secretary comes in, he doesn't quite understand what's going on in a particular ministry. Chances are that he may not be able to understand a number of the things that he should look out for. Now, that is one issue. The next issue, which again was in the press, was the issue of the fact that they moved from a traditional budgeting system, which is more like historical budgeting system, to zero-based budgeting system. Now, there were controversies where they were saying that, that maybe they didn't use the zero budgeting system. And the National Planning Commission was saying, no, we used it, and all that. Now, to make that kind of change, or to try to make that kind of change, within that same period where there were new people, was again inevitable that it may lead to a crisis. Then the third thing that I believe has contributed to all some of these issues is the one that I believe is speculative. Now, if you go back with previous budgets, there has always been that allegation that members of the National Assembly tried to twist the executive to getting things into the budget which they will benefit from later on. Now, that again could help in creating problems, So there are a number of issues that have contributed to lead us to where we are today.
But you know, many would have thought that all of this, yes, may be the case, but they had liaison officers who have experience in legislative matters who were supposed to bridge that gap, and they didn't expect that this kind of things would happen. What do you think could have happened? Didn't they bring their influence to bear?
Yeah, okay, fine. There's also politics. You know, beyond, you know, trying to do things properly, there's also politics. If you go back again, you'll notice that there is, I mean, the National Assembly had a stormy start, you know, where in the end of it, you know, egos were bruised, you know. There was some bit of arm twisting to get them to settle down in their jobs. So it is, again, also not, which is speculative, not impossible, that there might have been some bit of sabotage. You know, for the president to talk about padding of the budget, I mean, that's serious. You know, that the budget had been padded. Now, what is the motive behind that? It's either it's about we want something in there for ourselves, or we'll mess you up. Mr. President, we'll mess you up. We'll make sure that, you know, we'll put you in a position where you look bad, you know, before the Nigerian people. So, I mean, even with, okay, if you go back to the first controversy, missing budget, I mean, with liaison officers, like you are mentioning, that should not be an issue. It should have been under wraps. But there it was, boom, in the public, the public domain.
You know, good thing you said is speculative, but we can't take away politics in all of this back and forth we're seeing with the 2016 budget, can we?
No, you can't take away politics. There's always politics, especially in a house that is almost roughly, say in the Senate, that is almost roughly 50-50, you know, between APC and PDP. It's, I mean, you can't rule out politics.
But again, if you look at it, some of the, you know, kicking against this budget is also coming from APC. Their party members in the National Assembly. So that makes it more worrisome to Nigerians, like even experts like yourself. What does this mean to us? This is 15th of April, and still we don't have a budget, and we don't even think that it's going to come out in the month of April. If what we're hearing is true after all about the Lagos-Calabar matter, whether it's there in the budget, whether it's going to come in as supplementary budget.
Yeah, I hope the president assents to the budget.
The way it is?
Yeah, the way it is. Except if there are major distortions.
But the Southern senators have told him, don't sign.
Right.
Bring back that part where they struck out.
Yeah, you see, it could lead to further delays. Already, the economy is in a bad shape, in the sense that no government expenditures have taken place in the last close to 1 year now. You know, no government expenditures have taken place, and the government drives the economy. So we can't continue to wait. Now, even if there are major distortions, and which the presidency will want to correct, I think the best thing is to go via a supplementary budget, which they have agreed to, you know, entertain if the president brings one.
Can he bring it immediately, or he has to implement the budget first before you bring a supplementary?
No, I believe he should bring it immediately. I don't know whether he can, but I believe he should bring it immediately. In the sense, if you take the Lagos Calabar rail project, for example, I hear it is counterpart funding. You know, that the Chinese are going to bring, you know, a substantial part of the money. At least government should be able to bring their own part of the money. So, if the Chinese are ready, why would we not be ready?
Well, they're also going to have that meeting. I think the president and some members, either the Senate or the National House of Representatives, if that meeting holds, because don't forget, before now, when they spoke about the budget not being passable the way it is, many saw that, well, if the Senate or the National Assembly bent over backwards at the time, you've done it before, so why don't you do it again? Bend over backwards, accommodate this part, Lagos, Calabar, rail projects, and then let's move on.
Yeah. From my reading of the situation, you see, it's important you don't do things that people can get back at you later. There are issues of legality now, involved, in the sense that some people are saying, hey, that once the budget has been transmitted to the president for accent, that you can't bring it back now for amendments. So the best thing is, if there are no other major issues, let the president sign it, so that at least they start, the executive starts implementing its budget. There's a lot of, people are beginning to badmouth the government, without the government implementing even its first budget. People are saying, oh, things are not working, blah, blah, blah. And I keep saying to people, this government has not even implemented one budget. So why is this hue and cry?
But the economy doesn't wait.
Yeah, fine, I agree.
Things just have to get moving.
Yes, I agree. So that's why I'm in support of the president signing of the budget meanwhile, and then rectify whatever anomalies he has noticed in the budget.
All right, Mr. Onyilofor is the management consultant. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.